For more than 42.1 million European men, women and children, asthma challenges their ability to enjoy normal, healthy lives. Problems of poor health and the limitations imposed by uncontrolled symptoms are constant concerns for patients, placing a continuing and costly burden on healthcare services. Even though significant advances have been made in diagnosis and treatment, large, well-controlled studies reveal that the management of asthma remains suboptimal for many patients, despite the best efforts of physicians and nurses. The full extent of this problem is revealed in the AIR study. Researchers demonstrated that 63% of patients experienced symptoms that limited their daily lives, such as their ability to work, complete household activities, or play sport. 46% had daytime symptoms at least once a week. Despite treatment, 30% had made emergency visits to doctors or hospitals in the last year. This situation is recognized by clinicians who see the need for improved treatment strategies.
The increase of the prevalence of asthma and allergy is well recognized now also by government institutions. So there is a big effort at the moment, on the one hand side, to establish research programs, but on the other hand also to implement better treatment strategies for the doctors and for the patients. And when we look into the real situation, I think we still have a lot to improve, not only to educate the patients, but also to ask the doctors to follow the guidelines.
These guidelines have established protocols for the optimal use of the effective anti-asthmatic drugs which are currently available. Importantly, some, like the British Thoracic Society and the GINA guidelines, emphasise the need for individual treatment goals for each patient. They recognise that the needs of patients and their understanding of their own treatment make them important partners in improving care.
Asthma management involves an important three-way relationship between the patient, the drug to treat the asthma, and the delivery device. And of course these components are closely interrelated. I think in the past we've emphasized the drug therapy of asthma, but we now need to take much more account of the efficiency of the delivery device, because all effective drugs are given by inhalation. So we need to have very good devices to deliver drugs by inhalation to the lung.
Indeed, for many patients, both adults and children, problems associated with inhalers are an important limitation on the effectiveness of treatment. Up to half of adult patients often use their inhalers incorrectly, and this figure increases in children. These problems occur despite training by healthcare professionals. In itself, this counselling places a further burden on the resources and time available to the busy physician. Problems with inhalation techniques, such as poor inspiration and difficulties with handling, are widely reported by patients across a range of devices. How important are problems associated with delivery devices with children?
We do have a lot of very good delivery devices, but not all of them are suitable for children for several reasons. One major reason is that children must know whether their inhalation was successful, and they must be keen to inhale, they must like it. So they need some triggers, they need some noise, they need some taste that they know inhalation was successful. And also we doctors need it, because I think that about 50% of lack of efficacy of our therapies due to bad inhalation technique. And everybody who is treating asthmatic children should convince himself whether the inhalation technique is done correctly.
To address these critically important issues, scientists at Meda, a research-based pharmaceutical company with extensive expertise in inhalation technology, have developed the highly innovative Novolizer. They set themselves a most challenging goal: to develop the ideal inhaler. The Meda team worked in close cooperation with European academic centres to engineer an inhaler which effectively delivers the drug to the large and small airways, consistently, time after time.
The ideal inhaler should be easy for the patient to use. It should work at a constant flow. It should be flow independent. The drug should be distributed evenly throughout the lung to not only large airways but also to small airways that are affected by disease, and it needs to be something that is reproducible so that you get reliable dosing so that you can get good control of the disease.
The Meda team also designed unique feedback mechanisms for the Novolizer to reassure patients that the dose is correctly delivered, including a dose counter mechanism which only moves forward upon correct delivery. As a result, patients and physicians are reassured that the right dose of drug is delivered each time the Novolizer is used correctly. Patients simply check that the inhaler is correctly primed, as shown by the green window, and inhale until there is an audible click, at which point the window turns red to confirm that the drug has been delivered. It's as simple as that, time after time, for up to 200 inhalations when a new cartridge of the drug is required. And for patients and healthcare professionals, there is the added reassurance of the unique dose counter. It only moves forward after a correct inhalation, so any doubts about the number of doses administered are simply eliminated. It also gives an early indication of the need to replace the cartridge. Based on a clear understanding of the physical properties required for effective dry powder inhalation, the Novolizer uses its unique patented cyclone technology to separate the fine and coarse particles of the powdered drug. Activation is made easy because of the Novolizer's low to medium level of inspiratory flow resistance. Within milliseconds, the flow of drug in the Novolizer is evenly delivered in a clean stream of air into the large and small airways with minimal deposition in the mouth. As soon as the trigger threshold is overcome, the Novolizer delivers a significantly better deposition of dosing across the airways than the turbohaler. And the Novolizer provides patients with the clear reassurance that every inhalation is correct. As a result, peak inspiratory flow studies consistently show that correct inhalation is achieved time after time, even in children. Such consistent and effective delivery is unmatched by the turbohaler. Ease of use and reliability of effectiveness simplifies patients' training significantly, even amongst children, a point made strongly by Professor Seidenberg.
When we give an inhaler to children, we always or sometimes don't know whether the inspiratory flow was high enough or whether the duration of the inspiration was long enough. So it's very good to have a signal we receive from the inhaler device whether the inhalation was correct. And I like very much the Novolizer because you hear the click, and this is good for the doctor, good for the mother, and it's good for the child because he likes it.
Like this young asthmatic patient, physicians and nurses throughout Europe are demonstrating that the Novolizer delivers improved inhalation time after time in daily practice. It's simple to use correctly and provides greater certainty for patient and doctor. Already, many patients are using Novolizer each day. From the beginning, our scientists set themselves the objective of developing the ideal inhaler. How close have we come to achieving this goal?
The Novolizer best fulfills all the ideal requirements for an inhaler because it's easy for patients to use, it gives reliable dosing, good distribution of the drugs into the lung, and it works at a constant inspiratory flow so that it gives very reproducible dosing. What that means is that it's much easier for the patient to use this device, which means it's more likely that the patient is going to have their asthma controlled adequately.
The innovative Novolizer from Meda, making asthma management easier, engineered to deliver time after time.